Marietta College. $1,200 of your closest friends across 100 acres. This is home.
Coming up on the season finale of WCMO NewsCenter 15, Ukraine agrees to a defense deal with Germany to help in the fight against Russia.
China's exports grew 2.5% in March in sharp slowdown as Iran war raises uncertainty.
Stay with us. Those stories and more coming up on WCMO NewsCenter 15. Hello and welcome to today's edition of WCMO NewsCenter 15. I'm Ian Allspaw.
And I'm Kara Gillette, topping our news today.
A man who was shot multiple times during an arrest last week by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers in Central California was charged Tuesday with assaulting a federal officer. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of California alleges that Carlos Ivan Mendoza Hernandez drove forward and struck a federal agent with his car and reversed back into a law enforcement vehicle after he was pulled over April 7th. U.S. Magistrate Judge Allison Clare at a hearing in Sacramento raised questions about not releasing him on bond. She ordered Mendoza released from jail on a $50,000 bond, saying that he likely poses no threat to the public for being a flight risk. But she agreed to give a higher court judge 48 hours to affirm or overturn the ruling.
Diplomats worked through back channels Tuesday to arrange a new round of talks between the United States and Iran after Washington enacted its blockade of Iranian ports, while Tehran threatened to retaliate by striking targets across the war region. U.S. President Donald Trump said a second round of talks could happen over the next 2 days, telling the New York Post the negotiations could be held again in Islamabad. Meanwhile, in Washington, the first direct talks in decades between the Israeli and Lebanese ambassadors to the U.S. concluded on a productive note, according to the U.S. Department. I wonder what the weather looks like.
Landon is here with the current conditions. What's going on outside right now, Landon?
Well, Ian, right now it's, objectively speaking, the warmest week of April we've had so far. Right now it feels like, and it's been feeling pretty warm all week, as I've said, a whopping 79 degrees outside with partly cloudy conditions, an expected high of 81. The UV index, ultraviolet rays, is at a moderate level of 5. The air quality is at a good level of 42. The pollen levels are extremely severe. My allergies can contest to that. I've been feeling the effects of that a good chunk of the first half of this week. The winds will be running around the south-southeast, roughly 14 miles per hour. The humidity is roughly 42% outside today. Not quite as hot as it could be, but it's enough that you could probably see some of the sweat pouring on our foreheads during the course of the broadcast. The sun rose earlier this morning around 6:47 and should be setting about 5 after 8 this evening. So, as this is the season finale newscast of Marietta College NewsCenter 15, we're going to be in the process of winding things down here as the temperatures start to warm up. And we'll talk a little bit more about that and how the upcoming weekend and how that will play into the weather of the upcoming weekend and into the next work week We'll see how that will affect the people of Marietta College and the community of Marietta at large. But I'll return to the, good grief, my brain's scattered today. I'll talk more about that in a bit more detail when I return later on in the program for the 5-day newscast, for the 5-day forecast, weather forecast. They're going to give you the newscast in a few minutes. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Landon. In other news, Ukraine agrees to a defense deal with Germany to help in the fight against Russia. Ukraine and Germany are starting work on plans for the joint production of advanced drones and other battle-tested defense systems, President Vladimir Zelensky said Tuesday, as Kyiv looks to scale up its more than 4-year fight against Russia's all-out invasion. They have proposed to Germany a bilateral drone deal covering various types of drones, missiles, software, and modern defense systems. Their teams are starting concrete work. Merz said that Germany's commitment to supporting Kyiv's war effort is a very clear signal to Russia.
China's exports grew 2.5% in March from a year ago, significantly slowing from the previous 2 months as uncertainties rose from the Iran war and its impact on energy prices and global demand. The March export data released by China's customs agency Tuesday missed analysts' estimates and was down from the 21.8% export. Growth recorded for January and February imports last month surged 27.8%, up from the 19.8% year-on-year increase in the first 2 months of the year.
Coming up, visitors to a lush Victorian-era greenhouse had strong reactions to the blooming corpse flower.
And the newly released video shows an Oklahoma high school principal stepping in to stop a shooting.
All this and more after the break.
At Marietta College, teamwork goes beyond athletics. At Marietta, we promote individuality, creativity, and resilience. Whoever you are, wherever you're from, we are Pile Nation. This is the time, this is the place. We are pioneers. We are Marietta College.
Oh, it's gonna be great. I think it goes around.
Let's go. We gotta get you in practice.
And it's set!
The Colorectal Cancer Alliance wants you to know a lot of things in life are preventable. Colon cancer is common and deadly, but that's also preventable. The Alliance is doing its part to end colorectal cancer. Now do yours. Get involved. And if you're 45 or older, talk to your doctor about the colon cancer screening options available to you. Go to colorectalcancer.org to learn more. Oh boy.
Yeah!
Welcome back. Visitors to a lush Victorian-era greenhouse had strong reactions to the blooming corpse flower, with some comparing its smell to rotting eggs, a dead bird, or even a dirty diaper left in the sun. Nix Del Prado, a student at Mount Holyoke College, said the odor was worse than expected, describing it as truly like rotting flesh. The rare plant, known scientifically as Amorphalis titanum and nicknamed Pangy, blooms only briefly and releases its powerful scent to attract insects. Although it appears to be a single flower, it is actually a large cluster of tiny blooms surrounding a tall central spike. And while it withers quickly, the plant can bloom again in the future.
Newly released video shows an Oklahoma high school principal stepping in to stop a shooting after a former student entered the lobby and fired a pistol. Principal Kirk Moore was shot in the leg but still rushed the gunman, tackled him, and managed to disarm him while students ran to safety. He held the suspect down until police arrived, as another staff member secured the weapon. Authorities said no students were injured, and the officials credited the principal and staff's quick actions with preventing further harm and saving lives.
Kent Syverud, who is set to become the next president of the University of Michigan, announced he can no longer take the role after being diagnosed with brain cancer. Currently undergoing treatment, Syverud said he draws inspiration from others facing similar challenges. He had been scheduled to begin in May, but will instead serve as a law professor and advisor to the university's Board of Regents. Interim President Domenico Grasso will remain in place while a new search is conducted. The leadership change follows earlier transitions, including the departure of former President Santa Ono after a failed move to lead the University of Florida.
Republican leaders across several states are backing efforts to expand Turning Point USA chapters in public high schools following the assassination of co-founder Charlie Kirk, calling it a push to protect conservative voices in education. The move, supported by multiple governors, has sparked debate over free speech and the role of politics and religion in schools. Supporters argue it ensures students can form conservative clubs without being blocked, while critics, including students, teachers' unions, and civil liberties groups, say the endorsements risk favoring one viewpoint and may violate First Amendment principles. The initiative has already led to thousands of chapters nationwide, with more partnerships expected.
Coming up, the Walt Disney Company begins laying off 1,000 employees.
And 7-Eleven expects to close hundreds of its stores in North America this year.
Stay with us.
We are currently experiencing some warm temperatures this week, and we're going to be in for a bit of a cool down as the weekend approaches. I'll have these details with your 5-day forecast coming up after the break. Stay with us.
Mo.
This Movember, the moustache is calling once more. Raise funds, save lives. Sign up at Movember.com.
There's a place for everyone at Marietta College. Our place is here as esports competitors. This is Marietta College Esports.
Thanks for sticking with us. The Walt Disney Company on Tuesday began layoffs expected to lead to 1,000 job cuts across the company. Josh DeMero, who in February succeeded Bob Iger as chief executive, announced broader layoffs following a move in January to consolidate Disney's marketing division. The cuts are expected to fall across the Burbank, California-based company's traditional television businesses, including ESPN, as well as its movie studio. Employees in product and technology and in certain corporate functions will also be affected.
According to earnings filings published last week, 7-Eleven's North American operator plans to close 645 stores in the 2026 year, outpacing the 205 locations it will open during that time. 7-Eleven Holdings Co., the Japan-based parent of the convenience chain, noted that these closures include the conversion to wholesale fuel stores. Financial documents show that 7-Eleven Inc. has steadily opened new wholesale fuel stores in North America over recent years, which accounted for more than 900 locations as of December 2025.
Taylor Frankie Paul, a star of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and a recently scrubbed season of The Bachelorette, will not be charged in a pair of February fights with her former partner, the Salt Lake County District Attorney's Office said Tuesday. Police in the Salt Lake City suburbs of Draper City in West Jordan have been investigating claims of domestic violence from Paul's ex-partner Dakota Mortensen, the father of her 2-year-old son. Paul has also made allegations against Mortensen, but those were not addressed in the documents. Let's move on to Hollywood now. DCU fans get a teaser of a new sci-fi space adventure.
And we'll find out who gets to see the Season 2 finale of The Pit.
Here's Zach with the scoop on our Hollywood Minute.
Thanks, guys. Look out, bad guys. Supergirl is out for revenge. Millie Alcock stars as Cora Zor-El in Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. You can see the trailer now for the June 2026 movie. In it, we see a vengeful, jaded Supergirl who journeys across the galaxy. Jason Momoa also appears as the bounty hunter Lobo. Did you watch the Season 2 finale of The Pit? Well, healthcare workers got to see it in theaters 3 days before the rest of us. HBO Max says the whole point was to celebrate healthcare workers' steadfast dedication to their communities. Attendees also got to take home some special The Pit giveaways, along with the news that the show is coming back for Season 3. And 50 years ago this month, a New York theater began midnight showings of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And a phenomenon was born. To mark the anniversary, the documentary Strange Journey, the story of Rocky Horror, is returning to theaters at the end of the month in New York and then expanding to make more cities in May. That's all I have from Hollywood for now. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks so much, Zach.
I wonder what the temperatures will look like next week.
Well, Landon is back here with the details. Landon, what can we expect from Mother Nature for the rest of this week?
Well, we can expect some continuations of the warm temperatures and then a bit of a cool off as we get further and further into the weekend. But first of all, let's take a look at the map of the United States of America. As you can see, and in two different places coming from the northern border of the country, connecting with the southern border of our Canadian neighbors, we'll be having a round of snow coming down towards the western half of the country in the southeasterly direction. And in our neck of the woods, stemming from the Great Lakes and the areas of Quebec and Ontario, we'll be experiencing an increase of precipitation and rainy conditions coming down onto the tri-state area of Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and a little bit of Kentucky too, coming through all those states down there. As you can see, Toledo and Sandusky and the area closest to Lake Erie are going to be affected first. And as for today, our lovely neck of the woods here in the Middle Ohio Valley, we're having a pretty calm day today, aside from the late night rain we had last night, and a little bit of rain we're going to be having later on in the day, later on this evening likely. The weekend will begin in Stern with a warm-up of 83 with partly cloudy conditions, lowering of slightly on Saturday with an expected high of 80. That rain I mentioned a little bit ago coming down from the Great Lakes is going to lead to a drastic cool down for the churchgoers on Sunday with an expected high of 59. A low of 35 and partly cloudy conditions. And then the temperatures will eventually start climbing back up as we begin the next work week on Monday with expected high of 55 with sunny conditions. And then those warm-ups will definitely start spiking up on Tuesday with an expected high of 77 and sunny conditions. As I said before, this is hands down so far the warmest week of April we've had so far. And next week, probably not going to be as warm, but still going to be pretty warm after a bit of a cool break this upcoming weekend. So keep some of your heavier clothing around for at least this weekend. And then as we get closer and closer to the end of April, you can start bringing out some of your lighter clothes, putting out some of your flowers and other plants and foliage out in your landscaping or whatever it is you've got going on in your place of residence. Whereas for us here on the campus of Marietta College, we're going to be working hard to get things ready for finals week and winding things down as we get ready for our various summer activities. And I'm certainly looking forward to that. I know you all are too. So that's all I've got for you this season for the weather. I'm Landon Santini. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Landon. When we come back, CJ is going to join us with an update from the world of sports.
See you in a few.
Let's do this! Yeah! There's something stirring up inside of me I never felt before.
support you at Girl Scouts. Where together, we can do big things. Make it your year of friendship at Girl Scouts.
I never chew tobacco.
I don't drink much.
Never smoked a cigarette in my life.
HPV. Isn't that about cervical cancer?
What does that have to do with oral cancer?
HPV? Didn't know that.
Thanks so much for staying with us. Join us now for Sports with CJ.
Sorry, CJ.
Sue Bird, a Hall of Famer who grew up watching the WNBA on NBC, will join the network as a studio analyst and feature storyteller for its 30th season beginning May 8th, appearing on NBC and Peacock. The four-time champion with the Seattle Storm said the opportunity felt like the right fit given NBC's legacy and the league's growth, especially with the return of Round Ball Rock by John Tesh. While NBC Sports will air more than 20 games and Bird will contribute to analysis and behind-the-scenes stories, building on her decorated career that includes 13 All-Star selections, Olympic gold medals, and her 2025 induction in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. The 2026 WNBA Draft was a record-setting night, highlighted by UCLA Bruins producing 6 selections, the most ever by one program, including 5 first-round picks, while the Dallas Wings used the number 1 pick for the second straight year to select Ozzie Fudd, reuniting her with former UConn teammate Paige Beckers. The Minnesota Lynx chose Olivia Miles at number 2, and the Seattle Storm selected Ava Fan Taim at number 3, leading a draft that featured 45 total picks across 3 rounds. A notable draft trade involving Flau'jae Johnson and a strong international presence with 10 players from outside the United States selected. Marietta College head volleyball coach Christy Anderson has announced the hiring of former 2-time AVCA All-American Emery Spittler from Lebanon, Ohio, as the Pioneers' new assistant coach. Spittler finished a standout playing career highlighted by being named the 2025 Ohio Athletic Conference Player of the Year while leading the OAC in assists per set at 10.55, becoming the program's all-time assist leader with 3,975 and earning another AVCA All-American selection while also contributing 3.1 digs per set, ranking 12th in the conference, and she brings 3 years of club coaching experience along with a degree in graphic design as she transitions from player to coach within the Marietta program. And lastly, Marietta College softball team split a non-conference doubleheader at Penn State Barron Lions on Sunday, falling 2-1 in Game 1 before winning 7-1 in Game 2 and moving to 7-13 on the season. Barron took the opener with early runs and held off a late Marietta rally despite hits from Cameron Campbell and Grace Elliott, while the Pioneers responded in Game 2 with a 5-run third inning highlighted by a 3-run homer from Addison Heath and strong pitching from Candace Walters, who went the distance in the circle. That's all I have from the world of sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, CJ. And back at the desk with us for one last look at the weather is Landon.
Well, to quickly sum it up, continuing on from the rather warm temperatures we've had throughout this week, we're going to be having a warm first half of the weekend with an expected high of 70 and 80 on Friday and Saturday before an oncoming rainstorm on Saturday will cause a drastic cool down on Sunday with an expected high of 53 before eventually climbing back up to 77 by Tuesday of the next work week. So yeah, the weather's heating up on and off throughout the Mid-Ohio Valley while we're at Marietta College here are winding down as we get closer and closer to the end of the semester. What are you guys planning on doing as we approach the final weeks of the school year?
Well, as the final weeks, everyone should come. Oh, hello, Lobster. Everyone should come down to the Herman Fine Arts Center and come see Charlie Brown and Doxy's God.
Oh, I love Charlie Brown.
Ooh, then you should definitely show up.
Who are you playing in that?
I am actually not playing any character
this
time around. I am doing, I am assistant lighting designer for both shows.
Well that's yeah. You can't do a great show like that without a great crew.
That's absolutely the truth. And that's Thursday,
Yes.
Friday, Saturday. I will be seeing it Friday, so if you want to see me, be there. But unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for each other today. We hope you have a great week and a wonderful summer. From all of us here at WCMO NewsCenter 15, Marietta College Broadcasting, thanks again for joining us.
Meet Candace. This senior basketball player loves to spend time hanging out before class with her best friend and education major Shelby. Shelby knows the best place to study is at the Calapi Cafe, where she can compare notes with baseball player Ryan and get a great cup of coffee too. In the off-season, Ryan tries his best when he's shooting hoops with broadcasting major Gage in the Dyson Baudo Recreation Center, home of Fenton Court. Gage, as producer at WCMO 15 News, runs the control room, where he shows the ropes to Mary, a junior volleyball player and advertising and public relations major. Mary loves to spend her free time drawing down at the Herman Fine Arts Center, where her sorority sister Madison majors in studio art. Madison meets up downtown with junior rower Katie. Downtown's where you can get beautiful river views, specialty stores, and the best root beer in Ohio. Katie heads back to campus just in time for a class in the Rickey Science Center with who else but Candace. So take a look around. Here at Marietta College, we're all connected. We are family, and we are all pioneers.
Lee Major, did you get your flu vaccine yet? Make that your mission for today.
Did you say mission? Let's do this. With the flu season coming up, we all have to help protect ourselves by getting the flu vaccine. If you're over 65 like me, you gotta even be more careful. Look out! Our immune system may not be as strong as it used to be, so we have to do everything we can to keep the flu from catching up with us. Educating yourself about your flu vaccine options is important. It's also really easy. So ask about your vaccine options, because if you're a tough guy like me, you may need a tough vaccine. The flu can aggravate other conditions, so make it your mission to get the right flu shot for your age.
Lee, is that you? Did you complete your mission?
Oh, you mean the flu shot? No sweat. Visit the National Council on Aging at ncoa.org/flu to learn more about vaccine options for people 65 and older.